sports today on Kababayan Today. In sports, Supreme Grand Master is going to be joining us later to talk about Philippine martial arts. Also in travel, earlier we took you to Taiwan. Later on, we're going to be taking you to Hawaii as we talk about their celebrations and preparations for the Philippine Independence Day celebrations. But for now, as we are doing a lot of traveling, especially for those of you planning to travel this coming summer season, let us talk about personal safety while traveling. Joining us on the phone right now is Kathy Steinberg. She is the personal safety expert, also an author, also a speaker. Hello and welcome to Kababayan Today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Kathy, I guess the first question is, how do you maintain or make sure that we are safe when we travel? Do you have any tips for us?
Sure. There's several things that you can do to be safe. One of the first things I tell people is go ahead and make copies of all your travel documents and upload them into your email. That way, if you happen to lose them or if they're stolen, you can always access them from, some internet cafe or the computer at your, hotel.
Right.
During your trip.
Or even the phone, right? I don't know if you have phone or tablets, yeah.
Right,
but that's actually a smart advice. Now, I'm looking at your advice number 2. It says, read up on travel advisories. How shall I say, reliable are travel advisories?
Well, the travel advisories issued by the U.S. State Department, they're fairly decently up to date. But if you really, really want to get real up-to-date, real life pulse kind of travel information and warnings, go over to Travel Forum. There's one called the Thorn Tree Travel, which is from the Travel Planet. And what it does is it people go on who travel constantly, and they log on and they give all the advice and all the things that they encountered while they were out. And because criminals are always figuring out ways how to harm you, and chances are somebody's already fallen prey and they've reported it online. So that way you can stay a step ahead.
Yeah, because, the Philippines, we've always seen the Philippines in travel advisories, but also we go there a lot also because we're Filipinos, and we know that there are some areas, that maybe, it's not advisable to travel there, but there are other areas that are safe. Say, for example, as well, Mexico, we hear of a lot of, drug lord wars, and how dangerous is it really, right?
Yeah, Mexico, though, is a pretty decently dangerous place. I wouldn't find myself traveling there unless I was with a big group and I'd stay together with my big group.
All right, which is also one of your tips. We're going to be touching on that hopefully later. When we travel, of course, we bring money. Do you advise that we bring notes, banknotes, cash, or just use our credit card?
You could do cash or credit cards because some places, especially if you're traveling abroad, will not accept credit cards. So you have money, but separate your money sources. You should always keep a credit card in a safe place, whether it's in the safe in your room at the hotel, and keep one with you. That way, if your bags are stolen, you at least have a credit card and have money to be able to get yourself home. Mm-hmm. And if you do have money, don't carry it all in one place. For instance, keep some money, a little bit of money in your pocket, and then keep the rest of your money somewhere else. That way, when you want to purchase something at a market or something, you open up your pocket with a little bit of money and you pay for your items, but it doesn't really show how much money you actually do have. And then later on, you could just replenish it with the extra money and put it into that little pocket. So you only show little bits at a time.
Right. So maybe use the safety deposit boxes in hotel rooms?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here's another advice. I want to ask you about this. You mentioned don't completely trust the locals. Getting friendly is nice, but be leery of strangers.
Absolutely. You wouldn't trust strangers implicitly here at home. You definitely shouldn't do it when you travel. And it's nice to get friendly with people, in different countries and get to know strangers. But you also have to be leery because you don't know what areas you're in. You don't know who those people are, and you really don't know what their motivations are. Remember, chances are you probably are the wealthiest person in the area at the time. A lot of these other countries are a lot poorer than we have the luxury of being here. And so you want to be leery and be careful of who it is that you're associating with.
Okay, what about the weather, Kathy? What part does the weather play in personal safety?
Well, the weather plays a pretty significant part. And for instance, if you end up going to a country, and like, for instance, where the tsunami happened in Thailand, and suddenly you're caught up in a tsunami. There's no way of you knowing this in advance. It just happens. Well, you have to be careful and aware because now the situation, the dynamics have changed. You need to resist sightseeing and photographing disaster areas because what happens is that the emergency services are already stretched. And if something happens to you, they won't be able to come and help you. They're already helping hundreds and thousands of other people. They have no time for you. So if you put yourself in a dangerous situation, now you're going to find yourself in a bad, even worse situation because the emergency services won't be able to help you. And also, opportunistic criminals will commit crimes during those times because they realize that the police are probably tied up.
Yeah, well, a lot of this is common sense, but thank you so much for joining us today and reminding us about these tips. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Kathy Steinberg, author, personal safety expert. Information on the screen where you want to get more information about her or a lot of her advice, pieces of advice as well. When we return on the show, let's talk about sports. Don't go away.